Hi there. I just wanted to talk about how to create healthy habits in an overwhelming situation. Because there is so much information out there and because there is seemingly so much to do when it comes to creating a new healthy habit, creating a new lifestyle for yourself, all of this stuff is a lot of information. It's a lot of information and it is seemingly a lot of work. So, what I did is I broke it down into little bite-sized pieces, and I don't do it perfectly, and I allow myself those moments of grace, and I allow myself to recognize all of the things that I am doing wonderfully versus the one or two things that maybe I didn't do great. So for instance, back in April, so let's go back to November 2018, maybe even earlier than that. I had purchased Beachbody and I was going to be all in. I bought Beachbody on demand. I got 80 Day Obsession. I did the Ultimate Portion Fix. I bought all of the stuff. And I was on point for maybe a couple weeks. And then I had failed at not doing my workout on time. I had failed at not finding the right time to do my workout. I had failed at the nutritional piece. I had seemingly failed at all the things that I needed to get done to look as though I was doing it perfectly, or to even bring my body back to thinking that I was doing it perfectly. These are all mind games that I play with myself, right? And maybe you guys do too. I don't know. But it seems like it is a mind switch for me. I had to relearn how to be acceptable, how to allow myself some space for growth, because just because I had read it and understood it, I immediately thought that I needed to be able to do it correctly the first time. That's not always true. That's not even a little bit true. I had to learn and allow myself to grow. I had to give myself grace and acknowledge the fact that I was doing things correctly and that I just needed to give myself that space. So, after several months of not doing anything and kind of beating myself up and gaining more weight and being even more into the negative self-talk that I can do, I, in April, had decided that I was only going to do one thing. Just one. I was going to do one thing differently. I was going to work out. And that was it. That was all I was going to do. I was just going to work out. So I did my 20 or 30 minutes of working out every day. Every day. And I did that for the first 21 days. And I did that because I knew that if I at least could get that done and I could feel good about that piece, then I could maybe change something else. Now, mind you, I had to find a time that worked for me because not everybody works out in the morning. I love getting my workouts done and over with so I don't have to think about it the rest of the day because, I don't want to do nothing the rest of the day. So I had to find a time that worked. That was the number one thing. Got my workouts done. Then I started reading the materials. And just kind of digesting the information. And I would go throughout my day and think about all the different ways where I could implement this aspect of my life, where I could implement a change, where I could implement more vegetables, where I could implement maybe even the containers, just thinking about it, right? So I'm not doing anything yet. I'm not actually physically doing anything at this point. I am just thinking about it and looking at my day in a more thoughtful way. So I'm thinking, I could do this for my life. I could do this for my life. I can introduce Shakeology here. I can introduce this at this time of day. I can even start planning what it might look like if I were to put all of my food in the bag and be successful at eating. Then I talked to my husband about the containers, and I talked about what that looked like and how we could implement some of that stuff and just even what that looked like. I also overwhelmed myself and wrote down all this thing and made this big organizational chart and did all of this stuff that overwhelmed me, and I stopped using the containers because I was overwhelmed. I was overwhelmed. My husband was overwhelmed. It was too much. So what I had to do was very small increments of planning, using my brain to think about how I could do things differently, using the information that I had and implement that into my life just without even doing it, just thinking about implementing it, right? So all of this to say, it is a slow process. It has been a slow process, but is it worth it? Shit, yes, it's worth it. And you can do it too. I believe in you. It's a slow process, and you have to build up to your goals. Don't change everything at once. Do not change everything at once. Don't do it. Change it in small increments in which you, not me, but you will feel comfortable. Yep. And then you got it. And then you just keep molding and growing and changing as you go. Let's do this. You got this. I know I have challenges. You will too. And you'll overcome those. Believe it.